Hey everyone. So I wanted to have a little fireside chat, I guess, or at least maybe just kind of clear the air a little bit because I've posted some things, and especially since before the election and now I've had some politically charged posts. And sometimes, you can basically see more of my opinion, especially in a stronger manner than before. And I wanted to, talk about it. But I wanted to ask one thing first. I need you to do me a favor, okay? And this is especially true if we disagree politically. Won't you do me a favor and take a deep breath? In and out, okay? And I want to reassure you of something. Even if we disagree politically, the most important thing that we can remember is that we both want the same thing. Okay? We both want America to do well, its citizens to do well, for everyone to prosper, and we believe in the best America and American exceptionalism. And I believe in that. I promise we both believe in the same things. Okay? Disagreements politically to me really just kind of seem like, I'm going to use an analogy or a metaphor here, okay? You and I are driving, and had to get through Atlanta, okay? We're taking we're taking I-85 north, We got to get through Atlanta. And, here's the deal. You may, I may say, hey, let's just stay on 85, Let's just go straight through. Because here's the deal. If we time it right, we can make it through no problem. No traffic. It's faster, more efficient. We get to see cooler stuff along the way. And you know what? You could say, no, absolutely not. I don't want to risk it, okay? Because I've even followed the GPS, and when I go through there is just traffic that pops up out of nowhere. It's aggressive. It's a headache. We need to take, 285. Let's skip it. Let's just go around, okay? Logically, our thinking is both influenced by the things that have happened in our past, in our life. I may not have as much of an issue with traffic. You may have had a really bad experience. And the fact is that even though we're coming to a disagreement about which way to go, we're trying to get to the same place. And both of our opinions are valid. They've been shaped by the events of our lives. Logically, they both make sense. I may not agree with you. You may not agree with me. But it's there. We both believe in the exact same thing. And that's, to me, what it comes down to political discourse, okay? We both want what's best, right? We just disagree on the route it takes to get to the destination. My thought is that Facebook is basically the modern-day Athenian agora, okay? The agora in Athens was basically the place that the philosophers would go, and the politicians and the guys in the white robes. You would have Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, basically arguing about, methods of government, morals, virtues, everything else kind of comes along with it. All right? This, and that trend continued for a long time. That also extended into taverns. People would go to their local tavern, and they would argue and they would debate and they would go back and forth. It was an exchange of ideas, right? And fact is that, Facebook is that today. I welcome all to come and participate, right? Iron sharpens iron. But, and here's the big part, civility is really big for me, okay? Fact is that I love to debate. I love to debate to the point where I will argue the opposite side. If nobody's on that side, I will play devil's advocate just for the opportunity to basically flesh out what you really think, and to basically just to debate. I love debating, all right? I'm a Libra. I am such a freaking stereotypical Libra that it's insane. I will debate just to debate. And, you can ask your wife what, being a super Libra means. I don't know. But whatever it is, I'm that. I freaking love to debate. So the thing is, though, is that I can argue for argument's sake. And I can play devil's advocate for that. And I can do it without taking or offering offense. And I divorce my political opinions from my ego, okay? Ego's over here, politics is over here, okay? We can talk about politics and we can disagree about politics, and I won't get offended. I don't take it personally. I don't lose respect for you or your opinion unless your opinion is basically like something that violates my morals or my principles. You know, what is that? I mean, if you're racist, if you're sexist, if you're, if you basically like believe in violence for violence sake, we wouldn't be friends, okay? But regardless, if you had bad character, and we're not debating anyways, because there's no debate, we're not friends. I don't respect your opinion. Everybody else I do, though. But here's the thing. When I debate, I match the civility and tone with my debate partner. And you can read it in my comments, okay? If you're respectful, I'm respectful. If you're on the high road, I'm on the high road. If you go with a lot of facts, I go with a lot of facts, okay? I try to back up my arguments. I cite my sources, okay? I read, and I hope that basically like I write my posts in a way to be able to educate. But here's the thing. I vote blue, okay? That wasn't always the case. I do now, right? Again, we're talking about life experiences shaping us in a specific way, okay? I vote blue, right? Unlike most people that do, I'm not an intellectual elitist. I'm not. I'll use big words from time to time. I know a lot of little things if I don't know a whole lot about one specific thing. And if you didn't figure out before that I wasn't an intellectual elitist, I am really sorry to basically like break that to you. Okay. But some people that vote blue, they either they think they're too good for the fight, or they won't engage in the fight, and they can be chickens. Okay. So sometimes you can walk up, give a little sucker punch, add a little dig, and they just take it. But again, going about being in a way we were shaped growing up, I learned two major things. One, rugged individualism and a bootstrap mentality. You make everything for yourself, and you are responsible for basically shaping the world that you live in, taking care of, improving, making better. And two, personal accountability. You own what you say, right? And I was told never to start fights. I'm very much a believer, kind of like the libertarian principle of nonviolence. Do no harm, okay? I want no harm done to me. I want no harm done to you. Very much kind of like Teddy Roosevelt's speak softly and carry a big stick. I'm not out here just kneecapping people. I'll speak. I will speak very honest and clear and open. But the thing is that because of that, I meet force with force. And one thing that you'll notice is that I told you, I match civility and tone with my debate partner. So if you're civil and you're on the high road, I'm civil on the high road. Some people, because they think that Democrats don't hit back or will turn the other cheek, okay? And that's not me, okay? Jesus said turn the other cheek. But he also flipped over tables and chased people with a bullwhip. That's me, okay? That's me. If you go the low road and you expect me to be a regular blue voter, you're gonna be in for a shock, okay? I'll meet you on the low road. I'll drag you in the ditch next to it. All right, because I'm a kung fu master of slinging mud. But I can do that, and I can not get offended, and I can shove your head in the mud and pray that you have a snorkel, because I'm gonna try to drown you in it. And at the end of it, I'm just like, hey man, good game. That was awesome. That's fantastic. You did great. I appreciate a vigorous debate. And you might go, F you, Joe Nelson, piece of crap. I can't believe that you said that stuff about me. Whoa. Hey man, you started it first. You know, you called me stupid, you insulted me, you insulted my friends, and I met force with force. And when you took it to another level, I took it to another level. Okay? Because most people can't divorce their emotions from their arguments. They can't. So because they can't divorce their emotions from their arguments, we end up in a situation where I'll piss people off. And I don't want to. Because I can debate for just the sake of debate, for the sport of it. And it makes me really, I'm happy to do it. I have fun. But most people aren't like that. So you can say, Joe, well, just don't engage. Just don't engage. And I often don't. But sometimes I do. And because I love the debate, it can make me a little deliberately antagonistic. I might push a button. I did the other day. Somebody told me, they're like, we're so much in debt, this just can't continue. We have to try something out. That's what these tariffs are all about, is just making sure that this country can't go the exact same way. That's why Trump's trying to be able to fix this. And I was like, well, technically speaking, of the $37 trillion that we are in debt, 25% came from his first term. And I won't tell you what they said to me, but it wasn't nice. I mean, my fact was honest, But I knew I was being a shit for saying it. I deliberately pushed their button. I wasn't wrong, and they weren't wrong in believing that something needed to change. But I did it for the sport, and they got mad about it. And it sucks. I don't want you to think less of me because I enjoy debating. And I don't want you to step into the arena with me because I'll be happy to sling mud, and you may get your feelings hurt. I could stop. I should stop as much. But again, it is what it is. We want the best for America. Our destination, where we want things to go, is the exact same. We just disagree on the route to get there. But if you and I engage, let's just keep that in mind. Let's just keep in mind. Some of my best friends are so Republican, like, I'd say that they bleed red, but I don't know if there's a redder color than red. They do. And I love America. I am a quintessential Virginian. Virginia Commonwealth history is American history. That's where it started. And I can tell you about the things that I've seen and places that I've been and experiences that I've had, and the respect I have for this country and for the people in it, for the people that fought and died for it. I can go over how many different ways that I love America. And sometimes it's easy to lose sight of that, especially if we don't agree. Or especially if I don't agree with everything the president's doing. It makes it very easy to allow you to believe that I'm less than, or uninformed, or an idiot. And I'm not. My life experiences are simply different than yours. So whenever we have information and we input it, it goes through our algorithm and calculations in our mind of everything we've experienced in life up to that point, and then it gives us a different answer. You can read something, I can read something. It can be the exact same thing, and we're going to get two different opinions from it. They're both valid. As long as we both understand it exactly the right way, we're equally educated, and we have the same morals, our opinions will be valid. They both are. But I'll never think less of you. I won't. Because I know you want what's best. And I know you're a good person. And we wouldn't be friends if you weren't. But let's just try to, if we're going to engage together, let's be civil. Let's remember those things. And let's not make it personal. I will meet you wherever you're at. And in my love of debate, I will forget that sometimes not everybody's like me. And I don't want to do anything to offend. My goal is to educate. And if I can't educate, I'm going to refine. You tell me what you believe, I'll counter. You'll give me something else. I'll give you something else. I'll cite my sources. You cite your sources. We come to an impasse. As iron sharpens iron, one sharpens another. I'm better because you made me research, present, argue, and I now am better at communicating that point. And I have a better understanding of why you think the way you do. And I hope you have the same for me. But let's just remember, we're in this together, and I want what's best for you. I have a lot of disagreements with what's going on, but it does not mean that I don't want you to do well. And I don't ever want to be the type of cynical person who voted for somebody else that says, you voted for this. You're suffering and it's your fault. No, that's not me. I don't want anyone to suffer. People are now, and I have a problem with it. That's why I post. That's why I email and call my representatives. And it's why I try to give as much information as I can to inform those that may not be as informed as you and I are. I hope we stay friends. Take care.